Hello, everyone. I'm Blayne Gilmer here for UGA Sports, and we are reacting to the commitment of Dylan Raiola, five-star quarterback, number one overall prospect in America, to the Georgia Bulldogs. This is something that's felt like it's been building, been coming for a long time, and now Georgia has the number one quarterback in the country in the class of 2024. And we're here to analyze, okay, what does this do for the Georgia program? Well, obviously, in the short term, the class of 2024 now has a chance to become legendary, even among the standards of Kirby Smart recruiting in the Georgia era. He has brought in number one class after number one class, but it's never been anchored, with the exception of Justin Fields' class, but we're going to get into that dynamic here in just a minute. It's never been anchored by a quarterback that is this, I guess, respected throughout the country by his peers, by talented guys. You see, even the fact that a guy like Jeremiah Smith is going to be making a official visit to Georgia this upcoming weekend. It tells you how much these guys think about Dylan Raiola. He's weaved relationships throughout the entire country, even before being a commit to Ohio State or to Georgia at different points in time. That he is just a genuinely nice kid, a faith-oriented young man. That is the most important thing in his life to him is his relationship with Jesus, his values that he lives by, and then the game of football comes after that. There really is no backup plan when it's Dylan Raiola and looking at his future and stuff like that. He's seen his dad play in the NFL for 14 seasons. You know, he is a guy that has grown up around locker rooms, around the game. And when I say seen his dad play 14 seasons, here's a point that you need to look at when it comes to Dylan Raiola. This young man has been able to absorb knowledge from a center in the NFL for 14 seasons. So he gets to sit around the kitchen table with a guy like Dominic Raiola, and he gets to learn about, as he wants to, he gets to learn about, you know, different fronts, different pressures, gets to learn about what it takes to compete at that high of a level in the NFL. He gets to talk to guys like a Matthew Stafford, who was in Detroit with the Lions at the same time as his father, Dominic, and was able to become very, very close friends, even to the point of the fact where Dominic was in Matthew Stafford's wedding. And so Dylan gets to talk to Matthew Stafford and ask his opinion of, hey, what is Mike Bobo like? What is the best thing, that I need to be looking for in college that's going to prepare me for the NFL? So this is a monumental day for a program that is already at incredible heights, winning back-to-back national championships. Now, this gives you two really talented quarterbacks in the class. Of course, Ryan Puglisi already committed, and that is a big thing for Georgia at this point because they're going to be losing a quarterback, probably two quarterbacks after this upcoming season. It's very likely that Carson Beck is going to be your starter, and with all the weapons around him, it is not out of the realm of possibility that Carson Beck ends up having a phenomenal year, shows off his talent, and then ends up going pro after this season. Does Brock Vandegrift and Gunnar Stockton stick around after going into next spring? I doubt it. One of them is probably going to be gone. So you needed to bring in numbers to add to that quarterback room. That's why bringing in Puglisi and bringing in Raiola is important. Now, we talked about, Kirby has not had a quarterback like this anchor a class, I guess, since a Justin Fields. Obviously Jake Fromm and Richard LeCount did a great job with that recruiting class a long time ago. I think the main difference here is, yes, Justin Fields, he's an NFL quarterback. He's doing good things at the NFL level. I don't know that Fields was as polished or nearly as ready as I believe Dylan Raiola is going to be coming out of high school. Like I said, this is a young man who's has an NFL pedigree. He has had tremendous tutelage. He trains with the same guy that trains Patrick Mahomes, and the reports that come out of that training, the guy who trains him, are astounding. Dylan's ability to be able to throw off platform, Dylan's ability to be able to anticipate throws, his arm strength, the size. All the time you just look at clips of him training and going through things, and this is a guy, 6'3", 225 pounds, and there's not any kind of excess there. This guy is put together, and he's going to be able to compete, I feel like, right away in terms of the talent level. Now, everybody has to adjust to the college level and has to learn the system and things like that. But Mike Bobo was a huge difference in this recruitment as well. Todd Monken was the offensive coordinator when Dylan Raiola made his decision to go to Ohio State first, committed to them back on his birthday a year ago, May 9th, a year ago, and then stayed committed through December 17th of 2022. But around September-ish, okay, Mike Bobo started getting more and more involved. Him and Montgomery Van Gorder started getting more and more involved in this recruitment. And it would come to pass that Monken and Buster Faulkner would be exiting the program, Bobo, Van Gorder kind of stepping in to those roles, and it proved pivotal. I proved that the relationship piece there was even stronger, it would seem. Now, Buster Faulkner continued 100% continued to be supportive of Georgia and Dylan going to Georgia, even when he knew, hey, he was on the way out and he was getting ready to go be the offensive coordinator at Georgia Tech. So you have to give a lot of kudos to Faulkner for continuing to say, hey, I think that's the best spot for you. That's him just being a genuine human being there and telling him what he believes, even with the whole in-state rivalry and all that kind of stuff that goes on. Todd Monken also just continued to rave about Georgia to the Raiola family, even after he was gone and even after he was at the Baltimore Ravens. But Mike Bobo and his relationship with Stafford and his genuine desire to make Dylan the best player on the planet is kind of what he's pitched the Raiola family on. He wants to make Dylan the best quarterback he can possibly be. Thinks he has the capabilities of being a guy that is at that Stafford-like level, just tremendous God-given talent, and then can be, molded and shaped into a guy that can be an elite, tremendously high draft pick in the NFL. Now, are there challenges that come across the way, or the things you have to prove? 100%. But I think the biggest point here is Kirby Smart has never had a quarterback that's been this talented in terms of, okay, what is the floor here, and then the potential ceiling of it on top of a roster that's this talented. Even when Fromm and Fields were there, both 5-star guys that came in, of course, Eason as well, his first year, there were holes there in the roster. There were areas that Georgia was not as deep as it needed to be, not as top tier talented as it needed to be. There were gaps between, teams like them and Alabama and Ohio State and select teams throughout the country that Georgia had to catch up on in terms of recruiting, in terms of roster building, things like that. That is no longer the case. Georgia is second to none in team speed. Georgia is second to none in depth. Georgia has all the weapons that they could possibly want to surround a guy like a Dylan Raiola, a guy like a Ryan Puglisi. They've got all those weapons there. Now, the thing about it is they're getting ready to add more weapons. I believe that Brian McClendon, Kirby Smart, Mike Bobo, now with Dylan Raiola on board, and Ryan Puglisi, two really good quarterback options. They are going to add a wide receiver class here that I believe is as good as if not better than any one that Georgia has ever had, probably a deeper one than Georgia's had. If they were to be able to flip a guy like a Jeremiah Smith, of course, that would be huge. Number one receiver in the country. They stand really in really good position with Ryan Wingo at this point. He was on Rumors versus Facts with us not long ago, just talking about how impressed he was with Mike Bobo, with Kirby Smart. And Kirby Smart has made it clear to these offensive weapons that Georgia is looking to, okay, we've built and we've won. We've built this program. We've won this way so far. Now we want to take it to the next level offensively is what Smart is telling these guys. And it has a very, very good chance of coming true. I think Nitro Tuggle is a guy that a lot of people maybe didn't have it as nearly highly rated as they should. Sokovie White, an in-state prospect from Georgia that is just, unbelievably athletic over at Cass and making tremendous plays. And Icar, part of the class right now with Colquitt County. So there's guys that Georgia has the potential of adding, like a Wingo, like a Smith, that you add to what they already have there, and it could be tremendous in terms of the pass catchers around them. But Jaden Riddell is a guy who's going to be visiting on the scavenger hunt weekend this weekend. Immensely gifted tight end, and it would just be ridiculous that Todd Hartley continues to bring in tight ends at that level. But would love to hear your guys' reaction and thought to Dylan Raiola committing to the University of Georgia. We wanted to put out this reaction video because it's huge. It's going to springboard this Georgia class forward. There's going to be a lot of momentum that comes off of this. Raiola's already been in communication with commits and priority targets of Georgia for a long time now. So I'm sure he'll hit the ground running, recruiting others. Make sure you subscribe, like, turn on notifications here on the UGA Sports YouTube channel. We appreciate you guys tuning in. I am Blayne Gilmer, and we'll catch you next time. Tune in to Rumors versus Facts. Tune in to UGA Sports Live with Roddy Nabolsi, Jim Donnan, Dane Young, and also make sure to tune into all the great shows. Georgia Players Section with Tavares King, Noshawn Marino, Paul Meharry, and Ben Bachman on the call-in show on Sundays. Lots of great content here for you. But in the time being, you may want to go over to the vault because I'm sure we'll have lots of stuff going on about this Raiola commitment and much more. So we'll catch you guys next time on UGA Sports.